Hi everyone, I'm back after a couple of weeks. I guess it's been a couple of weeks since the last video. I had a bit of a hiatus here. I've had a lot going on. Just a short message tonight. I want to talk a little bit about suffering. The storms of life is what I want to talk about. We have a lot going on in this world right now, and I know a lot of people are really struggling. And how do we deal with that? You'll hear me over and over again go to Romans 5, verses 3 to 5, talking about suffering produces endurance, endurance produces proven character, that produces hope. This hope doesn't put us to shame. So yeah, we got to rejoice in our sufferings. But how does that play out in reality most on a day-to-day level? For most of us, we don't like the suffering. And I would say a huge amount of prayers when you're going through a tough time are for God to take it away. And I just had a little passage from the Gospel of Luke tonight that just has been really sticking with me this week. Jesus calming the storms. So one day he and his disciples got into a boat and he told them, "Let's cross over to the other side of the lake." So they set out, and as they were sailing, he fell asleep. Then a fierce windstorm came down on the lake. They were being swamped and were in danger. They came and woke him up, saying, "Master, Master, we're going to die." Then he got up and rebuked the wind and the raging waves. So they ceased, and there was a calm. And he said to them, "Where is your faith?" They were fearful and amazed, asking one another, "Who then is this? He commands even the winds and the waves, and they obey him." So we've got the disciples and Jesus getting into a boat under Jesus' instruction. He says, "Let's get in this boat, let's sail to the other side." And then he just goes to sleep. And they get into this storm, which is probably scary, especially back, I don't know if you've ever seen a first century boat. I can't imagine it being much fun in a violent storm out in the middle of a lake or sea. They would have been terrified. And I looked at this whole thing as an analogy to what we go through in life right now. We get into these storms that are scary. We can't see the other side of the lake. We can't see what's going on with all the waves crashing around us. And these are the guys who walk with Jesus. You think they would have the best answer. They were terrified. What's the first thing they do? They woke him up. Make it stop, make it stop. And he did. And I think they missed the message. I think at the end, they look at each other and say, "Wow, this guy can control the wind and the waves." And I think in a way that, the visions of power, because this guy can do. They missed the whole point that Jesus put them in the storm. You can't tell me that Jesus didn't know there would be a storm. And he had no fear. He went and sent them into it for a reason, to show maybe that he was trustworthy. When you're with me, you can trust in anything. You're going to make it through the storm. And like I said, I think they really missed the point. I think we all do too, because we get the same way. We get in these storms of life, and our first reaction is we want it to stop. God, take it away. I don't think he's going to take it away because God put you in the storm in the first place. I really believe God takes the decisions we make in our life, especially the bad decisions, if you want to look back in the ones that you think were wrong, God takes those and he uses those decisions to form that perfect storm in our life he's going to use to mold you, teach you to rely on him. In 2 Corinthians 1, Paul talks about going to Asia and being, tested past his point of endurance to where he despaired of life itself. Basically, he says, "I wanted to die. It was so bad." He said, "But this was done for a reason, so I've learned to trust in God and not in myself." And I really think that's the point of this passage in Luke, is that they were just supposed to trust Jesus. Obviously, he stopped the storm for them and showed them what he could do. And I think they should be like, wow, we're always safe when we're with Jesus. And that's what I'm taking from that today, is that we're always safe when we're with Jesus. He always has our best interests at heart, if that's the way to put it. The problem I think we run into is we don't define our best interests the way God defines our best interests. Romans 8:29 says that God's interest in us is to be conformed to the image of Christ, and he is going to use all things in our life to conform us there, including these storms. I would say mostly from these storms. He's going to get us into these situations that we don't know how to get out of, and it's to teach us to trust in him, that he's going to bring you through. You do it. He is going to eventually calm the waves. And our job in these storms is just to ride it out, trust in him, and walk by faith, knowing that he has our best interest at heart. And that's really all I wanted to talk about tonight. I'm dealing with a few different people and myself and going through some tough times. And it's just been a message that's been on my heart this week, that in these times, and look at the way the world is around us, we all just need to take a minute just to step back, look at the big picture and say, God's put us in this storm. He will bring us out of it. And he's going to use this for things. So we embrace it and just allow him to work, I think is the best thing we can do during these times. I really don't have a whole lot more than that to say tonight. It was just on my heart, and I really wanted to get a video out because I haven't put one up in a couple of weeks, and I want to stay somewhat consistent with these. So I will see you guys in a few days, hopefully.